So before this year, I never really dated before. You know, where you go on first dates, test out the waters, that sort of thing. I got into my first relationship pretty early into my freshman year of college, and that lasted for several years. But this past year, I downloaded a dating app for the first time, and I truly experienced what dating in your 20s was really like. After going on many dates and meeting many different kinds of people, I've learned a lot of things about dating and also about myself that have helped me meet my boyfriend now. Ooh, hard launch. I mean, not really. If you guys have seen some of my other videos, you've probably seen glimpses of him. But anyway, let's talk about dating in your 20s because let's be honest, I think we all want to know how to do it the right way. Know yourself to know what you want. Before you even start dating, you should always know who you are first. What a relationship is not going to do for you is tell you who you are. And if you let a relationship define you and become your identity, then you'll end up just feeling really lost and out of touch. Your hobbies, your passions, your ambitions are what makes you so interesting to everybody else. Like, have you ever been in the presence of someone who talks about something with so much energy and so much passion that you can't help but feel excited with them? The vibe they give off is kind of infectious. That's the kind of person you want to be. You should know what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy, and like what sparks you. Being wishy-washy is only going to make you attract wishy-washy people. And before you start dating, you should ask yourself, like, who is my ideal person? What traits do they have? Do they share the same passions as me? What kind of person am I physically and emotionally attracted to? And you should also ask yourself, does this person that I'm imagining, or maybe you've already met them, do they fit into my current life? And if you feel like you have to bend over backwards and accommodate your life to be with this person, that's probably not a good sign. And of course, knowing yourself also means knowing your standards. When I first started dating, I didn't have my standards quite formulated yet, so I was just kind of wandering around, letting myself get swept up by like any person. But this is what you don't want to do. You should not let yourself just be carried by the wind with no respect for yourself. And if you don't think you know what your standards are, think again, because everyone has some, even if they're not consciously aware of them. And if you don't know what your standards are before you meet somebody, then they'll just decide what those standards are for you, and you don't want that. Next, get out there. Put yourself in situations that make it easy to meet people. Staying in the house all day is unfortunately not going to help you get a boyfriend or girlfriend. For example, join groups or attend any events going on in your city. This is a good way to meet people who have similar interests as you. And by you going to these events, you're showing other people that you have an exciting life and that you like to have fun. Or simply go out. You don't have to hit the club every weekend, but just going out to like different bars or restaurants just really puts yourself out there. The caveat to this though is that when you do go out to these places, you should just focus on having fun with your friends, not on finding Mr. Perfect. Because one, you don't want to look desperate, and two, when other people see you living your best life, they naturally want to be a part of it. Another part of just going out and putting yourself out there is you have to be open and willing to talk. I know it sounds like common sense, but you should be genuinely interested in getting to know somebody. Don't get me wrong, it's good to talk about yourself, but don't do it too much, because there is nothing more unattractive than somebody who centers the entire conversation around themselves. I promise you guys, people love it when you show interest in their lives, so ask questions. In the beginning, don't focus too much on deciding if they're the one, just get to know them. And when you are talking to these people, be optimistic. I know dating these days can feel kind of hopeless with everybody on social media telling you all the ways that the opposite gender has failed, or maybe you've been in several unsuccessful relationships in the past and you've been hurt and have trust issues. Either way, if you're trying to seriously date, you should refrain from bringing that negativity to the table really early on. Because hearing someone talk about their mile-long list of exes is not only a turnoff, but will make the other person wonder why you keep attracting these bad people. And then that's gonna look bad on you. So try to be positive. Obviously, be yourself and be authentic, but try to avoid gossip and overly negative things about your past. And lastly, self-confidence is key. This might be one of the the most important things when it comes to dating. If you want others to see you as the prize, you gotta believe it for yourself. If you don't even find yourself desirable or worthy of dating, then what makes you think somebody else is gonna wanna date you? Confidence is so attractive. It naturally makes other people wanna be around you. Getting out there doesn't mean just showing up to these places and talking to people, but it's about having the right mindset and the confidence to attract the person you want. Set the expectations early. In the beginning stages of dating, many of us, including myself, are way too forgiving when it comes to bad behavior, and this lowers your standards. Or maybe you decide to get into a relationship because you think they have potential. But the truth is, you can't change anybody. And if you date somebody hoping that they'll become the person you want them to be, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Whatever your standards or expectations for a relationship are, do not lower or alter them. I repeat, do not lower or alter them. Your standards are a part of who you are, so changing them to make someone else fit into your life is only going to make you very unhappy. I know everybody has a different ideal person they want to be with, but if you want to be treated well and be taken care of, you need to set the expectations early. I'm gonna expose my boyfriend a little bit here, sorry in advance if you're watching, but when we first officially started dating, anytime I would leave his apartment, he wouldn't walk me down to my Uber, and this would be like very late at night. So obviously I would be very nervous, and I was like, hey, I'd appreciate it if you could walk me to my car, in case I get kidnapped, haha, not really. And ever since then, he's always walked me down. And I know this story sounds like the bare minimum, and it is, but I'm telling you this because if I didn't know what I knew then, I would have just put up with bad behavior from the start. By not addressing your standards, you're basically telling people how to treat you. So knowing what your standards are and how to assert them is going to make dating so much easier in the long run. Don't play hard to get, be hard to get. Being hard to get means having an attractive and fulfilling life of your own. While you date other people, don't forget to date yourself. Take yourself out, keep doing your hobbies, do your self-care routine, hang out with your friends, and if they really like you, they'll find a way to be in your life. Dating should not consume you. It should just be in addition to whatever else you have going on. Being hard to get also means not making yourself too accessible in the early stages. You shouldn't cancel all of your plans just to see this person, especially if they're asking for your time at the last minute. Saying no to a date when you already have other commitments is not being flaky. It's having standards. Your time is valuable and should not be taken advantage of. Speaking of value, if you want to know how to raise yours, this is exactly how you do it. The more difficult something is to obtain or the rarer it is, the higher its value. And it's the same way when it comes to dating. By communicating that you and your time are not to be played with, you are raising your value as an individual. And going back to standards, being hard to get also means maintaining those standards. By doing this, you are setting yourself apart from everybody else because you are saying to the world, there are certain things I will not put up with no matter who it is. Respecting yourself and asserting what you will and will not tolerate is actually one of the most admirable things you can do. And it actually raises your attractiveness in other people's eyes. And lastly, just have fun. Sometimes when we focus too much on the end goal, like I want to get a boyfriend, I want to find a husband, we can lose sight of the joy that can come from the process of dating. Don't put pressure on yourself to find the one right away. Dating is all about trial and error, people. Conflicts and breakups are just a part of the process. Everyone goes through them at some point. So when one relationship doesn't work out, don't feel like you're a failure or that you're never going to find somebody. You've probably heard this before and are sick of hearing it, but I have to say it again because it comes from personal experience. You'll meet them when you're least expecting it. Before I met my boyfriend now, I literally didn't even want a relationship. And then bam, I was cuffed. Obviously, I'm so grateful to be in a relationship now, but like I said, it literally happened when I wasn't even searching. Somehow, when you don't force something to happen, the universe just kind of plops it in your lap and you wonder, was it always that easy? I promise you guys, what is meant for you will be yours. And this doesn't just apply to dating, but also for life. I'd love to know what your dating experience has been like for your 20s, so leave a comment below and I'll be reading it. I hope you guys found this helpful and that you feel a little bit better about dating. I still have a lot to learn when it comes to relationships, but compared to what I knew before, I feel like I know so much more about not just other people, but about myself. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!